Good Sunday morning, everybody, and happy Mother's Day. Well, it's a common sight, one that's becoming harder to ignore. You see it at stoplights, in parks, and along downtown streets. Homelessness is a growing concern, and city leaders are taking notice. But what does real progress look like? Well, city leaders say they have a plan.
What was once just concentrated in our downtown area now has spread to other parts of the city, impacting neighborhoods, impacting investment, and the sense of safety and stability of the residents.
At a recent city council meeting, city leaders took steps to address what they say is becoming a growing issue: homelessness within city limits. In a series of actions, council approved a timeline-based campaign aimed at better understanding the city's homelessness population, connect individuals with services, and enforce existing ordinances. Another motion focused on pursuing state legislation to establish a mental health facility. But city leaders agreed there is no quick fix, saying any real solution will require a long-term response and coordination. Well, mentioned in the mayor's remarks, a recent vandalism at one of the city's cultural landmarks, illustrating a tangible example on why action is needed. This is the aftermath from a break-in over at the Laredo Center for the Arts, where staff arrived to find furniture, donated items, and records destroyed. One person was arrested in this incident. And during those discussions at City Council, a few major challenges were identified. Among them, the mental health gap, where individuals have to be transported out of the city to a state mental health facility, a breakdown in the system where individuals are frequently arrested, released quickly, and returned to the streets, a strain in resources where police officers spend hours or even days handling mental health cases, some fragmentation in how agencies are not fully coordinated, and a whole lot more. And that's where we're going to begin this morning's discussion. Joining us, our Laredo City Council member for District 8, we've got Alyssa Cigarroa with us, along with Assistant Laredo Police Chief Ricardo Gonzalez, who is stepping in for Police Chief Miguel Rodriguez, who was not able to make it with us this morning. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate having you with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having us.
You know, I want to start off a little bit by explaining to us, at the City Council meeting, Chief Rodriguez spoke at length about just some of the challenges that you all have encountered. It's not a quick fix like y'all talked about, correct?
Correct. It's not. Unfortunately, these cases are very complicated because not only you might have mental health issues involved, you might have substance abuse issues as well that play in the circumstances, and a criminal offense, all playing in at the same time. So the laws have changed to be able to navigate through these cases and gear them toward resources to put them away from overburdened jails. Unfortunately, the services here are not present to be able to fully deploy those resources. So what ends up happening is that officers are at times pulled away, and you're correct, they're at hospitals for hours, days. We're overwhelming, limited resources, medical resources as it is. Laredo has limited medical resources, and we are shifting these cases to those resources, so even they get overwhelmed. So that's what we're trying to do, trying to bring those resources here so we can navigate through these cases from the scene directly to the help that's needed. But unfortunately, your police officer is the one that addresses a crisis, and as much as we like to help, and that's historically because for two reasons. One, we have a very well-established service, 911 service, where people can call and get help. And of course, we're the ones that are designed by statute to be able to take liberty away from somebody that's a danger to themselves or others. So we know we have to be very well involved in these cases. And of course, at times there's a criminal episode involved, but we're trying to bring in these resources to response with us, these co-response models. So you have your clinicians, your social workers, everybody involved in the onset to be able to navigate, create pathways, straight pathways for consumers to get the assistance that's needed and away from hospitals and jails if needed.
What did the chief mean when he said that once someone is arrested, they have to stay with them for sometimes hours, sometimes days, and they're staying with them at the hospital because they're under supervision of the arresting officer? Is that why it takes days off of the time from the police officer?
So yes, when we take somebody into custody, they're our responsibility. Unfortunately, a lot of the people in this homeless population are pretty much identified with having not only a lot of mental health issues, but medical issues as well. So the jails would not take them without a medical screening. So we have to
take
them to the hospital first to get the clearance.
Stay with them.
Until full clearance is done. And of course, unfortunately, we see a lot of these cases during busy times for the hospital, which is weekends, at night on weekends, and they're not a priority. Your critical cases, your MVAs or heart attacks, those are going to take precedence, of course. So sometimes we'll just sit there and wait until they get a clearance, then they'll be transported to hospital. Now, if they're minor offenses or nuisance offenses, they qualify for what's known as a PR bond, a personal reconnaissance bond. So sometimes they'll step in the jail and they'll be out a few hours later. The officer will still be tied up doing reports and stuff. So we lose a lot of equity with the public, thinking the officer didn't do anything because the offender is back and creating problems, when no, we took it to the only pathway that we have here in town, and it's not working. So these are the conversations that we're having. And as you mentioned, it's going to take a lot of different ideas and applying different solutions, because they're very complicated cases.
Sure.
Everybody's looking for that silver bullet, and there's no such thing.
Yeah.
The long term, having a mental health facility here is going to be a tremendous help. But even if we get the funding now, it'll take years till it becomes fruition, right? So we need to have that very serious conversation, which we are, and we're trying to get attention from our local, state, and federal representatives to make that happen. But in the meantime, we have to look at the system that we have now and create other solutions, or be able to do things a little bit different to be more effective.
Right.
Let me, if I may, Councilwoman, where are these homeless people coming from? Are they homegrown, or are they being bussed in, or is it a combination of both?
So I would say it's a combination of both. But we do have our homegrown homeless, and there's a lot of misconceptions and misunderstandings around the subject matter, because it is a complex issue and it's multifaceted, and we're not alone as a city.
It seems like everybody's got this problem,
right,
obviously,
across the
nation,
across the nation. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the legal histories surrounding homelessness. And for nearly 2 decades, you had the local governments had their hands tied because under Pottinger versus Miami, cities couldn't enforce a single ordinance unless they had enough shelter beds for every single individual that was homeless. And then you had Martin versus Boise, which loosened that up a little bit, but it was still restricted unless you could demonstrate adequate capacity. And so if you were going to address an encampment of 10 individuals, you had to have 11 beds. And just in July 2024, with the city of Grants Pass, the court decided that local governments were the ones to really, were the right people to make these decisions. And so in talking about our local infrastructure, we've been working on this steadily, and over the past 5 years, we've been working with our local agencies and Bethany House in particular and what I came to learn is that our organizations have been doing so much with so little for so long, and just working over the past 5 years, and just this past March, they have become a fully operational 24-hour shelter.
And is that the only shelter we have?
So we do have the Holding Institute, but they are addressing different needs in the community. But when it comes to homeless resources, we have the Bethany House, and then also Casa Misericordia.
And how many beds is that?
So they've expanded to about 56 emergency shelter beds, when before they only had 20.
Okay.
And they also have separated women and children from the single adult males.
Okay.
Because previously they were all
in the same place.
In the same facility, different floors, but
Same facility.
same facility. And so that really has a big impact too on our families with women and children. And now there's more space to accept them. And then within the resource center, they've also brought in coordinated efforts across all of our agencies that address homelessness. So we have SCAN, MHMR, Gateway is on site. You have the police department, the fire department, public health, everybody that has come together to have on-site office hours.
Do we have an idea of how many homeless people are in Laredo?
So I believe there's around 200 plus, but they're not all street level homeless. So a lot of our homeless population is our family with children, and they are sheltered. And then what we mostly see on the street are severe chronic cases of homelessness that are suffering from substance abuse and mental illness that have gone untreated.
And that's why at City Council, you all were talking about really the need for a mental health facility here, because Chief Rodriguez was talking about the amount of resources that it takes to take them out of town to a facility. Is that correct?
Correct. So the statute recently changed. We're now shifted from the Sheriff's Department being the ones responsible to transport people under emergency detention orders to the nearest mental health facility. And of course, that's at least 150 miles away, the closest one, to now the responsibility that's going to be to the arresting officer. So all our detentions from our officers now become our responsibility, and we're shifting now resources where we have a mental health unit that it was designed to show up at the event where the crisis was occurring and helping navigate through proper placement, getting resources at scene, be able to employ as many diversion tactics as possible in order not to trigger an emergency detention, exhaust any and all resources out there. Now we're shifting a lot of that to be just doing daily transports.
Wow. And do you think that, obviously this is an effort that's going to help. Also, you all spoke also about partnering with the Webb County Sheriff's Department. I understand that there was outreach done, but they too were strapped for resources as well. But they also have a mental unit as well, correct?
They do. And for the longest time, they've been carrying the torch by themselves, doing these transports. So recently we had a conversation with the sheriff, and he expressed his need for assistance because our cases are skyrocketing. So the resources that he has are limited as well. And now with the new responsibility being ours, it was our due diligence to come in and do as much as we can, help out. But yeah, they're still in the mix. They're still doing as much as they can, but these cases are only growing. And that's why we're sounding the alarm, right? And not only for a mental health facility, we're also talking about other pre-arrest, pre-jail diversion programs where we can now include the detox facility and having programs out there more for treatment rather than that punishment that we know it's not working, that revolving door.
Right.
So those conversations are being had. We're not stopping on our enforcement. We've increased our enforcement because we saw a spike in cases downtown and around the San Bernardo corridor. So we've increased our presence. We've been doing a lot of arrests, but unfortunately, they don't stop. It's not working. You talk about the case where we had somebody break into the Center of the Arts.
Right.
Well, guess what? The person went back and taunted the employees and got rearrested.
Wow.
And
You
it
know what, we're
also-
gonna, well, I was gonna say, we're gonna take a little break because we need a break to take a commercial break. But when we come back, hold that thought. We're gonna continue the conversation. Stay with us. We'll be right back after a quick break. Welcome back, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking around. We're talking about a topic that has been addressed many times. We're talking about homelessness in the downtown area that has now expanded into other parts of Laredo. And we are very happy to have with us this morning two people who know very much about the subject. We've got Assistant Chief Ricardo Gonzalez with us with Laredo PD, and we've got Council Member Alyssa Cigarroa from District 8, which is the downtown area. Thank you all so much for sticking around. Before we took a break for the commercial, we were talking about the recent break-in of the Laredo Center for the Arts. Councilwoman, tell us a little bit about this issue.
Well, I wanted to just continue the conversation with what Chief Gonzalez mentioned, and I wanted to state the fact that she actually wasn't homeless. She was living in housing through the Public Housing Department or Public Housing Authority, and that I find that to be a really important point, because when we're talking about the comprehensive approach, when we're seeing these individuals struggling on the streets, it really brings us back to the need for substance abuse and mental illness treatment.
Right.
And without these resources being available,
Right.
we really won't be able to compete with substance abuse. And at the heart of any approach when we're talking about homelessness, we really have to connect people to services.
Yeah, because like you all were saying at City Council, there are, and City Manager Joseph Nebb was saying too, there are so many different elements and layers to this. You've got criminal aspect, you've got mental illness, you've got substance abuse. So do we have places and resources for each of these issues to be helped, for folks to be helped?
So we do, but the resources are limited, especially in the last couple of years. These agencies or these entities have been losing funding. So they've been reducing their availability to normal working hours, which doesn't work for us. As I spoke to, crime doesn't stop, incidents don't stop, crises do not stop. So we find ourselves being caught up in that emergency room for hours until doors are open, right? So yes, even though they're out there and they're part of the conversation, one thing that I like to point out is that you have very passionate, dedicated individuals that have the best interest of the community in mind. Unfortunately, they can only do so much absent of these resources or this funding.
There was a recent effort, coordinated effort that lasted a couple of weeks to
The Blitz?
the Blitz.
So it's still going on.
It's still going on.
It's still going on.
Okay.
We don't see a lot of activity. I think
It
people
got
know we're out there.
It got too
and
much
we're-
publicity, and so
It's been known that kind of a zero tolerance. Our officers are out there enforcing any and all violations. So a lot of the disruptions are at bay, but it's one of those things. We move away and they continue.
Sure.
We talked about this incident with this individual who were very committed this offense and went back a few days later. So we have a lot of that, whether the person was affected by a mental health issue, substance abuse, a combination of both. That's why they keep happening, and this is an area of concern. But yeah, it's very costly. It requires a lot of resources, and they're not sustainable.
I agree.
That's why we need that long-term solution. We rather invest on the prevention part of it rather than the reactive.
Yeah. We have a soundbite taken from City Council from City Manager Joseph Nebb. He talked a little bit about the different types of individuals out there. I want to run that soundbite for our viewers.
I
I've said this to some of you, and I'm going to say it out loud, and I'll probably regret it after I say it. There is a difference between those that are homeless that need help and those that are choosing to live that way, and I would call them more vagrants and vagrancy. And they're hiding underneath the auspices of being a homeless individual, but it's a chosen path of what they've done. We can't help anybody that doesn't want the help. And this is the thing that Chief talks about. As we let them back out and they go right back out and they start doing the same thing again, we should not allow for that ever to happen.
Those individuals that continue causing problems, what do we do with those? Is that mental health, or do they need to be arrested and taken to jail?
Yes, yes, and yes. You have to, there's no one solution to manage these cases. They're complicated because it can be a very simple offense that the way it's structured now or overwhelmed jails, they'll find themselves out to the street no matter how much you call police.
Well,
right?
yeah, it depends on what you did and how fast you're going to be out there again. So
right. So even though you would think, oh, calling police, filing charges is the solution, no. We need a long term. We need the services. So that's why you're talking about these programs where we use that case as leverage, because like Mr. Neff said, they're volunteer, right? People that are on the streets, they've chosen that path because of substance abuse, mental illness, combination both. But this is a situation that they find themselves in, and they're not gonna voluntarily go quietly to get services.
Right.
So we use these cases, we build these cases to use them as leverage to be able to force them into these, hopefully, rehabilitation programs. And a lot of these cases are gonna be difficult. It's gonna take 3, 4, 5, maybe more, or never. But we're looking for those 2, 3 cases that will work, that will be able to pull people off the street, and that's going to be a huge win. Yeah. And we'll continue to work on those other ones. But yes, we need to. Somebody make the comment. In order for the carrot to work, the stick's got to be there, right? So we need to put everything on the table and let the individual decide. Yeah. But yeah, we have to get strict, but best interest in mind, right? We have to employ.
There's a humane aspect to this too. Yes. that needs to be considered. But I think I agree with what Mr. Knapp said. I mean, you've got to be willing to be helped.
Right, and compassion without accountability is enabling.
Agreed. Mm-hmm. And at some point it's like, okay, we can't keep helping you if you're going to keep doing the same thing. But it is a very delicate situation. It is a very complicated problem. We're certainly not the only ones that have it. I do have a question. There was a time there that Austin was sending people directly to us on a bus. Is that still happening?
So it was never really formally established. There were rumors out there. I worked downtown for a good portion of my patrol career, and I did encounter a lot of our homeless that got one-way tickets from areas up north. Yeah. So I don't want to put on the city of Austin, or who was giving him. Sometimes it was upon request, and social agencies will help them out getting down here. And why they like Laredo, predictable weather.
That's right.
Well, we're also just the end of the line when you think about individuals getting on a bus and going somewhere.
This is as far as they can go.
we're at the end of the line on I-35.
Yeah. Councilwoman, at the city council meeting, you talked about working with our legislature to just get some help and funding. Is there an interest from them to help in this situation?
I believe so, and I really believe that communities are judged on how they treat the least, the last, and the lost, and the right thing to do is to bring resources to our community and do everything possible and everything that we can to help people get to a place where they're self-sufficient. Sure. It's the right thing to do for the individual, it's the right thing to do for our community, it's the right thing to do for downtown and for economic development.
Yeah, it sure is. Well, this is definitely a conversation that we are going to continue for a long time longer.
And just to add to the conversation, and another component is housing as well. Mm-hmm. Even housing plus the treatment programs. Agreed. And because that is a critical component.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You need to have a place to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okie doke. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk about a couple of things more. And we want to say Mother's Day to all of our moms out there. So stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. Well, we don't have time for one thing today, but we do want to wish everybody a happy Mother's Day. Do y'all want to say Happy Mom's Day?
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
That's it for us for this Beyond the Headlines, but make sure to tune in next Sunday for another episode.